Hello Internet, this is either Roshi and I'm back with another reaction, and this time I'm reacting to probably my most highly requested Genshin Impact video finally. Ever since I started to dip my toes into this game, people have been telling me to react to a Winter Night's Lazzo. I held off. I held off because of spoilers and all sorts of stuff, and I wanted to play through the game from start to current, and I'm still not current, but I am at the point where this video released within the timeline of releases of Genshin Impact. You know, moving from Inazuma to Sumeru, this video came out in between that period. So now, we're here. It's finally that day. I'm gonna watch this, and I'm gonna talk about it. Without further ado, A Winter Night's Lazzo. Let's get into this.
The sages think themselves to be all-knowing, but we alone are wise to the virtue in those acts of folly. In this war, not even a single pawn may be spared. Because on this chessboard, checkmate is not where the game ends.
Already. Chills.
We are gathered here today to remember our dear comrade. In honor of her sacrifice, all work should halt for half a day as the nation mourns her passing.
Merely half a day? People say the Northland Bank's true currencies are blood and tears. But Mayor, even speaking as a banker, that sounds a little unconscionable.
Rosaline died in a foreign land. But you heartless businessmen and dignitaries, always with a convenient excuse to remain in the comfort of your homeland, you couldn't hope to understand. So why don't you keep your mouths shut? We don't want to make the children cry.
Hey, come on now. Even I don't think this is the right time or place for a fight.
Utterly risible.
Though her methods tarnished her honor, Loafalta's sacrifice is a great pity. Her loss shall not hinder our progress. But Dottore, what of Scaramouche and the Gnosis from Inazuma?
Conventional wisdom holds that divine knowledge cannot be rationally comprehended. After conquering the divine gaze, he will make his next move.
It's time to end tonight's foolish theatrics. Right now, you have no captive audience. Let every worthy sacrifice be carved in ice. With this nation, endure for all time. In the name of Her Majesty the Tsaritsa, we will seize authority from the gods.
Ooh.
Absolute peace. Such is the gift from the Tsaritsa. Such is Her Majesty's benevolence. Now you rest in this coffin, encased in layer upon layer of ice. Yeah, but Rosaline, I promise you, your final resting place will be the entirety of the old world.
I must say, you're looking very young today, Doctor.
You know very well that I do not take that as a compliment.
Where's the segment in the prime of his life, then?
He's busy with a little experiment in blasphemy.
Colin, time to head out on patrol.
Okay, Master Tainari. What was that?
Okay. So that was that. All right, that didn't disappoint. I'm gonna be honest. I was pretty worried going into this. Considering that this was a video that had been, like I said, recommended for quite some time, since the beginning of my Genshin Impact journey. And that so much time has gone by. Like, that request happened roughly 2 years ago. Ish. So I was going into this like, I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, it might be good, but is it gonna? Are people gonna be interested in seeing this? Am I gonna be interested in seeing this? Like, I don't. Is the hype still there? And honestly, I can't answer that yet because I haven't uploaded the video and seen the results. But from my watching this just now, rather intense. You know, just through the dialogue alone and all of these very imposing figures. Well, at least in their how they hold themselves, how they present themselves, right? These harbingers of the Fatui. Wow. Okay. And not once did I even... I mean, it makes sense. I will say one thing that I did know about this before going into it was that it was Fatui related. I knew it was like a big reveal for the Fatui members, right? I knew that much. Specifically, I was like, oh, you see Arlecchino, right? You see the knave. This is like her first appearance. Or so I think. I'm pretty sure it would be, because I would have reacted to something with her in it that took place before this, but I don't think I have. Other than the stuff that came out when she became an actual banner character, playable character person. So I was like, okay, so we're going to see Arlecchino. We're going to see other members of the Fatui. I don't know what they're doing, what they're talking about, or are they planning something? Of course they're planning stuff, but yeah, this was... That didn't feel like 4 minutes. This is like a 4-minute video. That did not feel like 4 minutes at all. But yeah, Senora's funeral. So great that they get half a day off of work because of her death. Whoa, that's Jesus. All right. So you're going to have to forgive me because I don't know who a lot of these other people are. I know that we have, of course, there's Child, we have Arlecchino. I'm not too familiar with the other names. I know there's Capitano. He's over here somewhere, right? Do we actually get to... Yeah, there he is. Capitano. And there's Dottore, or the Doctor. And then there is another guy who I recently learned... What's his name? Hold on, I'm gonna check something. Alright. So their names are in the description, and I just copied and pasted them on a different thing so I can look at the screen and the names at the same time. Okay, so we have there is Piero, the director of the Fatui, the jester. Okay. Okay. There's, I mean, I don't, I was, Damselette. Okay. Who is Columbina? I'm sorry, I'm going to be butchering these names, guys. This is my first time reading any of these. I'm also, I kind of messed up the thing that I was trying to read, so that kind of messed up a little bit. 1 second. Yeah. And I know, like, these are all names and characters, titles from, like, operas and stuff. A lot of people like to drop that info on me. I don't know specifically. From what I know, Piero is, like, a famous clown. Isn't it, like, Piero the Sad Clown or something like that? Like that's some kind of opera. Anyway, yeah, so there's the Jester, there's the Damselette, the Rooster, the Regrator, the Knave, Child, Marionette, the Captain, and the Doctor. And yeah, okay. So I think it was the Regrator that I heard about in Yelan's story quest. Which is, once again, kind of weird. I talked about it at the time. I know you guys haven't seen it yet, but at this point in time, I have already played Yelan's story quest and all that other Chasm stuff before. You'll get to it eventually. Members have access to it right now. But let's see, the Regrator. Who? So I already know that this is. I know this is Dottore. This is the Doctor, right? It's Captain. Arlecchino, the Knave. Then we have Tartaglia, the Child, or just Child. And then so we have Marionette. There's also the Regrator, the Rooster, and Damselette. If I had to guess, and there's also the Jester. Ooh. Ooh. All right, I could be wrong here. I'm definitely gonna be wrong. Probably. I'm gonna guess. The Marionette is, what was their full name? Sandrone or Sandrone? I don't know how to pronounce the name. Is this person? This person, I think. I don't know. And this is connected to, because Marionette, I'm thinking like Puppet Master, you know what I mean? So like maybe this is like a big old puppet that she has. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe this is Sandrone and this is the freaking puppet. I have no idea. I don't think it is. We're not talking about ventriloquism, but anyway. Then there is Damselette. I'm gonna say it's her. Mostly through her. Well, these are the only. Well, yeah, I'm gonna say it's her, just because the way she was kind of laying on the coffin seemed very damsel-like, if that makes sense. I don't know. Like, you think of like maybe like the stereotype of a damsel in distress, and they're just kind of all like splayed out, just like, oh, waiting to be saved or whatever. And like that's kind of the imagery that I can kind of piece together. If I have to stretch, that's where I'm going with that. Once again, could be wrong. Could be wrong about a lot of this probably. Then I originally wanted to call this guy Piero, just because he looks pretty funny. But I think this is Piero, and this is the Rooster. And I'm saying this guy's the Rooster based on his nose, and he's got feathers in his hat. That's the only thing I'm going off of. There's some rooster vibe. There's some bird vibe here. He's got some bird. That's what I'm getting. And then this is Piero. sad clown man, the jester, and he seems to have like a half mask thing going on. And I know these are all like theater related, but I feel like where you have the what is it, like the theater thing, it's like the dual face, like happy and sad, whatever, and like so it's like half and half, like something like two different sides to them. But I don't know, so maybe there's something like that with there. And that means that this is the regrator. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Regrator, refrigerator. I don't know. This is the man. This is the man's that was mentioned about in Yelan's thing. I think. I could be wrong. Maybe it's this guy. I don't know. Maybe this guy's the rooster, but I don't think so. I think this is the regrator, if I had to guess. Okay. You let me know how close I was. All right. Other than that, this was pretty crazy. It was very intense. I really liked the interactions between them. They're very much like we are working together because we have to, not because we want to vibes. Or not even, maybe not even necessarily because they have to, but it makes sense for them to. Right? I don't know, something like they all have their own reasons, I'm sure. Yeah, but we have all sorts of things going on. Dottore. I really liked how Arlecchino really kind of spoke up there and was just kind of like, yeah, you're all just staying here. Meanwhile, Rosalind, you know, Senora was out there doing work and she ends up killed. And you guys all talk all high and mighty, but you're not doing anything. Like, that was, I love Arlecchino. Even though, not going to say she's a good person, but I like the character a lot. And then, you know, refers to Child, and Child's like, you know, yeah, I'm psycho. Like, yeah, I like to fight, but I'm not going to fight in a moment like this. You know, I'm not going to start stuff right here. This is not the time for it. So I'm glad that he has even like a sense of like, you know, there's a time and a place for his hobbies at the very least, right? So there's that. El Capitano is interesting. I know there's a lot to do with him in Natlin, and I'm very excited about that. I have my theories about him just from the things that I've seen, like the trailers that he's in, and my prediction is that just based on his helmet, pretty much, he's some kind of cryo dragon thing. That's my guess. I mean, I guess Nouvelette was a dragon too, but I don't know if Nouvelette's a dragon. He's probably a dragon. I don't know. I have no idea. I can't confirm or deny any of that stuff. I have no idea. It's all guessing. I'm just assuming that there are characters who are dragons, and this is going to be one of them. I don't know. I got nothing. Dottore went through some changes compared to how he looked in the comic. Different kind of mask going on, and if I didn't know this was Dottore, I would have guessed that he might have also been the rooster just because of his mask being kind of bird-like. But I know this is Dottore, and he's going to be involved with Sumeru, and they're talking about, oh yeah, Scaramouche wasn't here. Obviously, he's one of them, and they talk about him, but he wasn't here because he's in Sumeru right now, right? Doing whatever he's doing. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Boy, what do I even... Yeah, everyone's got their... And then you have the butterfly. Oh, yes, the beginning part. The freaking chessboard. Bro, there's been so much chess symbolism throughout all of this, I in a few videos of mine, or at least in one that I can think of in particular, when I'm talking about, I think the traveler you would choose potentially, Ether or Lumine, and their symbolism and what they mean and all that stuff, and it's like white and black, and it's like a chessboard, and like no matter what, they're going to be opposing each other for some reason or another. Like I go into a whole thing. I recommend looking that up if you can. But yeah, they have the Gnosis on the chessboard in their spot. Yeah, they have 2 of them right now. The third one is with Scaramouche. Right? They don't. Okay, yeah. They have 2 of them. Oh, man. Okay. Other things that I appreciate and or something or other. This person who I am assuming to be the damselette, Columbina, maybe. It's very odd. Usually when people are like on a coffin, like this is a coffin, right? This is a coffin. Or is it a table? Is it not the same thing? No, it's the same thing. Okay, yeah. Just had to make sure. Yeah, with her on this, like this, you would think like, or I would think, it's someone mourning, and maybe she is in her own way, but she's got a smile on her face, so like, there's a little bit of like that unhinged factor there. Yeah. I like their designs though, how like different they are from each other, but you can clearly tell that they're all from like the same place, that they're part of like the same organization. But they are very distinct. Like this guy is weird as hell. This guy reminds me of the old dude in like the Persona games. I don't remember his name, but he's got the long nose and he has like a really deep voice. Kind of reminds me of that just because of like the face, even though I think even this guy's face looks kinder in a weird way. He's an elf. He's some fey creature person. So that's a thing. I feel like this guy's really sadistic. I don't know. I mean, they all are, sure, in their own way. Once again, Arlecchino kind of, I think, yeah, I could see why people would be very obsessed with finding out about this character for the first time, especially. Just kind of like, first of all, they're like, her design just rocks. It's just so freaking cool. And she's probably one of the more outspoken people within this meeting. And yeah, actually showed that sign of actually giving a fuck. You know, like, seems like she actually cared. Yeah, wow. I'm trying to think of what else to go. You and your vials, man. I don't trust that. I got nothing with the vial thing. I just know he's experimenting on people because Kale was experimented on. Most likely, Dottore is the one who did it, right? He's the one who does the experiments on people. I think that's been confirmed. In the comic, anyway. But she managed to escape, or whatever that situation is, and has been trying to recover because she's been like tainted by it, or sick from it, or something like that. Like she's been trying to get better, and I guess she left to Sumeru to to get help, and I guess ends up with, working alongside Tainari and whatnot. So it's so interesting, seeing her here and knowing like what her origin is more so, and just like the complete transformation is like, oh my god. But yeah. Oh, look at that. Okay, hold on. I do want to see this. Let me see the end here again.
Now you rest in this coffin, encased in layer upon layer of ice. But Rosaline, I promise you, your final resting place will be the entirety of the old world.
Today, Doctor?
You know very well that I do not take that as a compliment.
So, where's the segment in the prime of his life, then?
He's busy with a little experiment in blasphemy.
Yeah. Okay. Burning down the tree there is huge symbolism. Now, I'm once again, another thing that I'm not quite sure about. I have a theory that Nahida, she is the Archon of Wisdom, right? And there's this idea of this, of ley lines, and I don't know if they're necessarily connected, but she has... I feel like through her dreamscape, she's able to at least witness what happens on the outside. And there's been a lot of stuff with trees and whatnot. And I've explained this, and if this sounds like it's coming out of nowhere, it's because I have explained this idea a couple times throughout my playthrough. I think more recently it was in one of my Lantern Rite playthroughs, the most recent one. I don't know if it made it to the official video or if it's only in the uncut version on my members section. Not 100% sure where that is, but I did go on a rant about this idea I have of Nahida using trees because it's a whole thing like with wisdom and like sharing knowledge and like a network of sorts. And I was like, well, what would be like a network in this kind of world? Like there's always the importance of trees. I'm always freaking out when I'm seeing trees, and like there's roots and how they could possibly be connected around the world of Tevat. And maybe she's able to like pick up information and stuff from outside the world. I mean, in her teaser, she's having the dream and she already knows who you are. Right, like there's stuff like that going on. I'm pretty sure, aren't we in her dream in the teaser? I think we are. Anyway, so there's that, and I think through the Fatui doing what they're doing are kind of onto that, and they're like, oh no spying on us, burn the tree. Maybe, I don't know. Like there is that. Or it could just be like, it could be symbolic for like Signor's rage after death kind of thing, because it just bursts into flames and you see the little fire butterfly flying around, which is one thing I've talked about, that the whole nature of the symbolism for having butterflies and like spirits and people who have passed on, and now we're seeing another butterfly here, but it's one of Signora's butterflies, or moths rather, whatever you want to call it, little fluttery creature. And yeah, it's just kind of, maybe it is a sense that like Signora is simultaneously gone and not gone in a weird way, because stuff is weird here, right? The rules of Tevat don't make sense. There's shit broken. So there is something like that going on. But also a couple things odd with Dottore at the end here, this interaction that he's got. So 1 second, I want to hear this again. Let me put this on.
I must say, you're looking very young today, Doctor.
You know very well that I do not take that as a compliment.
That in itself is sketchy. That is... I do not... Honestly, I'm going to be way off here. First thing I thought of when that was said, I was like, does Dottore suffer from immortality too? Like Dainsleif does? I'm not saying he's from Conria. I haven't seen his eyes, so I don't know whether or not he is or isn't. But maybe that's a reason why they're hidden. Maybe he is. Maybe he did something similar. Maybe, I don't know. He could be from Conria. He could be super old. I'm not sure. Or maybe even a descendant of, but at the same time, with her being like, "Oh, you're looking very young today," blah blah blah. Obviously jabbing at him in some way, and he's just like, I don't like that. Why are you being like that? I don't like that. So kind of poking at something he's sensitive about. If not that, then maybe there is something he does with his experiments that make him younger, and he's not happy about it, but he does it. But that doesn't make sense to me, because I don't think he would be upset over something like that. Based off of the other things that I've seen, I think he would be more selfish. Like, he wouldn't care hurting other people in order to make himself younger, and I don't think that would be one of his concerns anyway, though. So I'm guessing he's got something going on with immortality. Perhaps. I'd be interested to find out if there is any more information about that as I go. Because there's no way you say that and then him just get grumpy about it. Usually it's the other way, where it's like, "Oh, you're looking tired, you're looking old, you're looking bald," like, and then they're gonna be like, dude, not cool, come on, what the fuck. But here it's the complete opposite. It's like, "Oh, you're looking young." Normally people would like that. He doesn't like that. So what does that mean? He's been around for a while. That's where my brain goes. Or maybe it's different, as far as maybe he's connecting it to, like, young as in inexperienced, not as wise, and he's just like, "How dare you call me a child?" Not our child, but like me, as like, "How dare you not recognize my experience?" It could be that as well. But that's a kind of a roundabout way of going and making that thing, and that would have had to have been maybe some weird chemistry between the characters behind the scenes. And now I'm just reaching to see if that would be a thing. So I do think, as weird as it sounds, the immortality thing makes more sense. And I don't necessarily think it's through experimentation, unless if it started that way, and it's no more that way. But either way, there's something about it, and he doesn't like it. And then and where's the segment in the prime of his life? Segment referring to the Raiden Shogun. He's a segment of her, like, of that whole thing. He was a puppet. He's not a complete person, but still in the prime of his life. He's very powerful. He's still young, like, or whatever. Like, he's just like, he's having his moment right now. He's doing his thing. He's living his best life, although it's not really that great, but and he just says that he's busy with a little experiment in blasphemy, because the Gnosis isn't here, because Scaramouche did not bother to deliver the Gnosis to Snezhnaya, to the Fatui. He has a hold of it. I think Scaramouche is kind of on his own warpath, doing his own plan, not necessarily in line with what the Fatui want right now. Or maybe a little bit, but he's busy with a little experiment. I mean, it could be Dottore giving him these instructions to do this, and he's just like, "Yeah, sure," essentially blasphemy. I mean, I think Scaramouche is trying to become a god or something, because that's pretty blasphemous, right? If someone is to force themselves into becoming an Archon, I think that sounds pretty blasphemous, because you're supposed to be chosen for it, right? The Fatui here are very much about, once again, Fatui bad, but I do see what they are doing. And how do I I do not like their methods of going about what they're doing. But as I've said before, this is an organization, these are characters who are doing that whole the end justifies the means thing. And I've mentioned that before in my playthroughs as well for quite some time. And it's even more apparent here. Between Unreconciled Stars, reacting to that event and finding out like, oh, the sky is fake. And then reading the book that we found in Enkanomiya, finding about the history of the world and stuff, and just how that's kind of put together. Other trailers and stuff that I've seen recently, that even just like the one trailer that I saw of Skirk, and there's the whole like reality breaking aspect and like space, and just like, this is the Fatui here trying to uncover the mysteries of Teyvat. And either that, or they already know and they're trying to just completely take down the Archons. Not necessarily take down the Archons, but even above them. Celestia itself, right? Whoever is currently sitting on the throne. Heavenly principles, all that jazz. Yeah, they are trying to either discover or uncover, or both, as far as the truth goes. And they go to some extreme measures to do so. And I think, and this is part of the Tsaritsa's plan. The Tsaritsa is in on this. Obviously, she of course she's in on it. They're doing it for her. You would think that she's in on it. But let's see. You have Venti essentially give his away. You have Zhongli, who made a deal to hand his away. You have the Raiden Shogun, who did not care to really safeguard it. And Yaimiko just kind of gave it away for a deal to save you, the traveler. Yeah, I mean, Nahida, we already know she's going to be locked up somewhere. Who knows if she even has access to hers. Maybe Scaramouche is trying to get that and do some weird combination with the Gnosis and stuff. I don't know. And I don't know what happens with the Fontaine and Natlan stuff as of yet, which is fine. I don't even know what happens with the Sumero stuff. I'm just guessing. I'm not sure. But yeah, I feel like the Archons, at least Venti and Zhongli know what's up with whatever's happening with Celestia, right? And they're trying to separate themselves from it. But they're doing it in a way where it's like they're following the rules still, right? In a weird way. And then you have the Raiden Shogun, who just kind of pretty much just does not care about that. It's not one of her, it's just whatever. She does not give like, she claims one thing, and then Yaimiko's like, yeah, you stopped caring about who you take orders from. Like, that's not a thing. So I feel like the Archons are wise to what is happening in the bigger picture, and they're sort of letting some things just happen in some cases. Or if something does happen where the Gnosis goes, they don't fret about it too much. Otherwise, in the very beginning, we'd have Venti like, okay, look, guys, we gotta get that back. It's kind of a big deal. Never really said that. He just explained what it was. But he wasn't like, we gotta go find it. I'll help you. Because it's urgent. No, he just kind of let it go. You know what I mean? So there's something there. And these guys want them because they're gonna try to possibly do something with that connection of sorts. But it's all one big chess game. This is all just one big chess game. It's crazy. This was nuts. I mean, there's so much. There's gotta be other things too. As far as the opening, seeing the little fire moth was haunting with the singing in the background. Then we have the chess game, looking at the pieces, you know, just kind of showing that they are indeed steps ahead or planning. There's a lot of, and I say steps ahead because when it comes to chess, you know what moves you're going to make. At least in the beginning, you know what moves you're going to make because you pick a certain opening, right? You pick a special opening and you follow through with that opening. But But yeah, things are definitely in motion for them. I'm wondering if there is any significance to how the chessboard is currently set with where the pieces are. I'm going to say no, only because in most things that I've seen when it comes to like that side of the world, with them understanding how chess is played, or I mean at least this version of chess that we're used to on the west side, they don't really understand the rules and the pieces aren't really where they're supposed to be and stuff. Like, you know, for example, like Code Geass, Lelouch says, oh, you should lead with your king. And like, yeah, they're making a statement there. You don't lead with your king. That's stupid. I don't think there's a play where you actually do move with your king. But you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't put it past them to have more of a meaning of what's here on the chessboard. Is there a reason why you have Venti's piece on one side and you have Zhongli's piece on the other side, for example? You know what I mean? Also, at the end of the day, these chess pieces, like, they're frames for what's obviously being held in them, right? Like, you have this spherical thing here, and then you have this cube here, and then everything else just kind of gets lit up. So I'm pretty sure that at some point in time, the gnosis are going to be like broken open and possibly released, and then that's when the energy will be used for whatever they're going to do with it. That's another guess. Yep. Oh man. This here, Signora's fire moth landing on a fallen pawn. Bruh. That's crazy. Imagine doing all the things that you did to help out this cause, and at the end of the day, you were just another pawn. And you were sacrificed for the greater good. Oh boy, that's something. That's something right there. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, anything else that I want to talk about? I mean, some of these... They showed close-up of the rings. I wonder if that has any significance to anything. I don't think I know enough to just take a random shot in the dark at that even. Yeah, we talked about Arlecchino a bunch. I mean, their outfits do have a lot of stuff going on to them, especially like Arlecchino's. I've talked about how she's got a lot of stuff going on hers that resembles like an actual biblically accurate angel. A lot of eye symmetry, like a lot of eyes, a lot of feathers or wings on her outfit all over the place. I mean, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, literally just go look up her character design in general. Not even with without the cloak, like just hers, and tell me you don't see a lot of like things for eyes to be all over the place and things that look kind of like wings or feathers in places. Like she very much looks like one of those crazy amalgamations of creatures that is what a biblically accurate angel would look like or described as, one of the versions anyway. Yeah, so there's all sorts of stuff like that going on. Yeah, you a dragon, I'm calling it. I already said that. Anyway, moving on. Dottore, yeah, I know I'm gonna learn more about you soon. I don't know if I'm gonna learn more about him, but he's gonna be involved because I think he was in a version trailer related to Sumeru, so he will be making an appearance in game there for the first time, probably, if I had to guess. That's gonna be wild. Probably not gonna like that. Well, I mean, I'm gonna like it, but I'm not gonna like. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be really interesting and cool for the story, but I'm gonna see him. I'm gonna be like, ooh. Ooh, what you've been doing to people? I don't. Not cool, man. Yeah, and then who I assume to be Piero, the jester. Intimidating. I got. What's with your? Huh. Is this the closest we get to him? Damn it. He's got a weird eye, too. He's got a weird eye, but I can't see it very well from here. I don't know if it's... If it's... Oh, do we got another dragon? Or is this actually part of... Or is it like Conrian again, like a Conrian diamond eye, like the bottom half of one? I don't know. Maybe it's a normal eye and I'm just tripping right now because I'm paranoid and I'm looking at everyone's eyes these days. But okay. Yeah. I think this whole thing this year was a great interaction between all these characters. The Fatui, it was good to actually get to see the other members of the Fatui. Yeah, Senora's funeral, essentially, and how it's just kind of treated like another day. Some are more upset than others. And you know, and that's fair to feel that way or be kind of like weirded out by that, because if anyone else were to just go, then they too would probably just have, you know, be remembered for half a day before work continues after all that they've done, right? But as they've made it very clear, this is not about them. This is for a bigger cause, the Tsaritsa's will. and it's involving to uncover the mysteries of Tevat. And boy, are there a lot of mysteries. And I have a pretty good hunch on quite a few of them. And a lot of you watching this right now know a lot more than me. So I will say I hope that you would kindly respect my intentions of trying to play the game in order and to not go out into the comment section for the sake of spoiling anything. I am very glad that I got to see this. However, please remember, I am just approaching Sumeru. So anything beyond that point, I do not want to know. Because I want to enjoy the game my way and be pleasantly surprised. I'm sure I will be. Whether or not I predicted something's right or not, I'm still going to be surprised with how it comes to be, how it's presented, or just how wrong I was. And all of those things are good in my eyes. So that's just what that is. This was insanely cool. The art was beautiful, once again. The animation kind of had that in between effect that they've had with their other, mostly with like their teasers and such. It wasn't like anything crazy spectacular animation wise, but as far as like the imagery looked great, colors great, character designs awesome, so on and so forth. It was definitely a really cool little narrative piece to kind of give you that look on the other side. And that's all I have. Everyone, if you want me to look at this again, if you want me to go more in depth, then let me know in the comments below. I will, if you want me to. I know that a lot of people have been asking for this reaction for quite some time. I don't know if it's quite up to your standards and whatnot, but this is what I got for seeing it, and that's just what it is. But when it comes to anything that is animated, I am most likely very excited and happy to look into it as deep as I can. And that's it. That's all I got. Anyway, I should go. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, share your thoughts down in the comment section down below, and check out the description for additional ways of how to support me. Please subscribe if you haven't already. It means a lot. And with that said, that's it. Until next time, shine on, you crazy diamonds. Later.